Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of Earthen's Den, and I have missed y'all. I'm so happy to be making this podcast episode, and as I'm sitting here today, I'm just gonna talk to y'all. Man, I wish I was different. I really do. I wish I could be normal. Not really, but I'm just gonna say, man, it's so crazy. Sometimes I think to myself and I'm like, man, I wish, I could just comply, and I wish I could just be obedient to normality and mediocrity and not, be a jerk when I'm in certain positions. Because let me just say this, I really do feel bad when I'm on a job and I can't really give my best, you know what I mean? Because I'm not passionate about it. And let me just say this, one of the things I definitely learned about myself was I literally, in the literal sense, I literally cannot do anything that I'm not passionate about with 110. It's not a matter of, you listen to people and they say you got to do small things. And I get that, right? And to me, the small thing is the thing that makes you wake up in the morning and it makes your life worth living. It's that little bit of light that you get from doing it. It's not on the job, unless you're passionate about your job and you love what it is that you do. And I look at people who are at work and I look at just their entire aura, and I know working in a lot of call centers and it doesn't always have to be call centers, but you'll see people in health fields and they're struggling with health problems. To me, that says so much more than, this person has some bad habits. To me, that says a lot about this person in their life and how they feel about themselves. You know what I mean? I think a lot of people are just waiting to die, if I'm being honest. I think a lot of people are just waiting to die and, be relieved from all of this. I think that so often we are just convinced and really manipulated to sell out on our dreams. One of the things about me, like I said, I learned just from very early on when I tried to, and this is what I want to talk to you guys about, changes too, because it's life. Okay, let me just start off with changes. Life's changes is inevitable. It's so inevitable. And I think when you stop and you realize the changes that are happening and you embrace it, instead of running from it, it's it takes you through such a transitional period in your life and through your spirit and your soul and just your overall journey. The vision becomes completely different sometimes. The end goal remains, but the vision and the plans and the steps to get there change. And it's really beautiful when you learn to embrace it, but it's growing pains. It's growing pains. And I think oftentimes when we are changing or when we make the decisions, whether or not you're doing it consciously or unconsciously, I think that we can all look back in our lives and say, you know what, when I decided to do that, that's when my life changed. And whether it's something we're proud of or whether it's something that we're still regretting today, I think a lot of people also enter into a space when it comes to the changes that they did make and the choices that they made. They live with regret, and then they just kind of project that anger onto other people. You know what I mean? And they kind of blame other people and they try to control other people and getting them to do the same things that they did, And I think the biggest thing is just learning from your mistakes. You got to learn from your mistakes. But I think it's such an embarrassment to admit that, yeah, I allowed somebody else to think for me, and that's why I'm in this position and I'm unhappy. You know what I mean? I think our parents, most importantly, I would say parents have a huge influence, obviously because they're the people that raised us. But I talk to you guys all the time, really look at your influences, I knew for me, it wasn't going to work and it wasn't cut out for me. And I think to myself and I'm like, man, why haven't I made changes sooner? But I had to learn to be patient with myself. You know what I mean? I had to learn at 23, there were some, even still now, it's all kind of coming together for me. And just the person that I am, not even, because here's the thing, you guys, I can't really put myself in comparison to nobody, no 22-year-old, no 21-year-old, no 19-year-old who's doing better as far as finances or, whatever it is that they may be doing, just because that's not my journey. And I think anytime we do that, we enter into this losing space. You know what I mean? And we lose sight of everything. And I think that's why a lot of people lose traction in their race. You know what I mean? The impetus is gone. You no longer have the motivation to do it because you feel as though you're left behind when you didn't even get on the road. Run your race, right? And so for me, people, I can't really say people, but I know that a lot of people wonder, if a person's giving advice, like, what's the track record? What does this person have going on in their lives, right? Because, nobody wants to listen to anybody's counsel who's not doing anything productive or who's not, you know what I mean? But for me, it was like, I realized that certain things I didn't start, certain things, like, I tell you guys all the time, me personally, I felt that my success was inevitable. I just believed it for myself. Like, I really believed it. Like, and I never seen it any other way. I would never have it any other way. You know what I mean? It was something that, to me, it was just a non-negotiable. Like, straight up, it was a non-negotiable, because I knew for me, I would not survive mediocrity. I would not survive a 9-to-5. I will not survive. Like, I knew that I just would not be able to do those things. And that was really just because I had so much passion inside of me, and I had been exposed to too much, and very early on, I made a decision. I made a decision that that's what I wanted, right? And that was the change. That was the shift for me. And so at that point, everything following after that dictated my move on so many different levels, whether subconscious, you know what I mean? It was almost like, the people I was meeting, the opportunities, like, it was stuff that I literally would either reject, and it was, like I said, subconscious, or it was just consciously, because I knew what I wanted and I knew what I was after. And so, yeah, like, for me, I had to learn, like, just to be patient with myself, because it was certain things, like, and it's even still, like, it's all coming together, like, ideas, just everything is coming full circle. And honestly, being patient with myself and just kind of stepping back and observing my life and my dreams and my vision, I'm so thankful for that. You know what I mean? And so when I step into these places and these rooms and I meet with people and they're not passionate about what they do and they're miserable, it makes it so hard for me to engage. And I think that's probably one of the biggest things. And I think that's where we all fall into that trap. And to me, it just brings so much sadness. Like, I don't look at people and say, oh man, you taking your job too serious or anything like that. I think that's very ignorant to say, but I think at the same time, it just saddens me, that is the life that people choose, because it's like, it's not fulfilling. You know what I mean? It's not just success, and to my own definition of success, it's not just, that brings me fulfillment. It's definitely making an impact. It's definitely family, kids, companionship, all of those other beautiful things that make life worth living, but at the end of the day, it's like, just knowing that you're fulfilling your mission on earth as a soul, as a spirit, as a child of God, living abundantly, to me, that's everything. And so I don't know, man, I look at these people and I'm like, man, this person's so unhappy, and it's sad that you kind of get beat in your head that this is life. This is the reality for you. You're not special, right? That's impossible. And it's crazy. And I don't know what it was, but it was like, I just never felt like it was impossible. And I just always remember always having that creative sense within me. Like when when I was younger, me and my sister, we built this grocery store out of garbage. And like, we literally went in the garbage, and my mom, she whooped us for that, but it was so funny. And even just with fashion, that's when I kind of started getting into fashion. I started dressing myself and all of those things. But I do thank God that I did have a childhood where I was creative. I was very creative. Like, I was outside, like, playing in the trees and the mud, and you know what I mean? It was just completely different for me. And so I think for me, it was something that was always a part of me. And then growing up, seeing my father remodel homes and, being an entrepreneur and, going over to my grandfather's house, who was a wood carver, and just seeing him in his house and how it just had so much character. And he would collect all of this art and he would cook all of these very interesting dishes. It was like he was truly a culinary chef, man. Like, it was amazing. And so it was those exposures right there. And I remember I would play, oh my God, you guys, I thought of the name. It's called Midnight Club. Me and my sister would play Midnight Club, and I would literally always drive this Audi, because I was like, I want an Audi. I'm getting this Audi. Then I would watch HGTV with my dad, and I would see these homes, and I'm like, this is what I want. And then it was that Homerama, and at that point, I just made a choice. Like, I'm going to get this. And people say, you can look at your life and be like, why didn't I do it sooner? Right? I should be there already. There are people who are there, but you got to realize that it just doesn't happen that way. Like, if definitely, I can honestly say vision definitely comes in phases, because sometimes I've been in like waiting seasons in my life where there is no vision, and then I'd be in a season where I'm getting spurts of seeds that I need to plant for the next harvest. And it's beautiful. It's so beautiful. And it's like, it just all comes full circle. And I think that's probably one of the things that I love about manifestation, is just seeing it come to fruition. But I think in order to really see it and to be present with it and to, really have like a true understanding about life and just your manifestations, I think that you have to be present and you have to know what it is that you want. Like right now, this was everything that I wanted, but I mean, it came a little later than I was expecting, you know what I mean? And now I want more. So it's just like seeing just the opportunities that have presented themselves to me for what it, and the thing is too, you guys, it's like, whatever it is that you want, that's going to look, your cultivation process is going to look completely different. You know, for me, it was a lot of research. It was a lot of research. It was a lot, like, it was just completely different things, you know, but for you, it may be clocking a couple hours. I don't know. It just depends on what is for you. But yeah, you guys, so when I'm in these spaces of employment, like it just makes me really sad. Just because, you know, it's a difference. Like I said, there's nothing wrong with having a job if you're really passionate about it and you love it. But, you know, seeing people have like health problems and, you know, their soul is like broken and it's empty and they're sad and they're on all of these medications just to get a little revved up about a presentation, man, that's sad to me, you know, and I really feel for that. And even still, you know, wanting to build a corporation and wanting to have, you know, people who are on my team, it's still going to be about passion. You know what I mean? And I'm always in these spaces. I seen this post, there was a young woman, and I don't really know her journey. And this is the thing too. This is why I try to be transparent as possible about like where I'm at and where I've been. And, you know, I'll do that more down the line, obviously, because people want to know, like, how did you, you know, they want to know about the dough, right? But it's like, I listen to people and it's like, everybody's got an opinion. And so that's why I say, like, just be mindful of the counsel that you receive, because everybody's got an opinion on a topic, but that doesn't mean that they experienced it, you know? And essentially the post was saying, oh, you know, when you're at work, you should be networking, you know, don't just be effing off and all of this stuff. And I get that. I really do. But what I feel like what people don't realize unless you've experienced this is that oftentimes in these positions, you're not around like-minded people. Like straight up, you're not building a team at McDonald's. You're not building a team at Burlington. You're not building a team working in the pharmacy. That's not typically how that works. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying that it's not possible, because I think that if you are listening to this podcast and you are somebody who wants to build your own business and you want to do those things, yeah, you are one, right? So that makes you, so we can't really say that it's impossible. But at the same time, I just think that overall it's just one of those things where it's like, just be real about it. You know what I mean? Like, be real about it. I feel like people always kind of want to sugarcoat the story. You know, they don't really want to tell you how they really got there, right? Whether they had a little inheritance money, you know, or you know, whether they took out a loan or what it really was that really put them in that position. You only get like little drops of the story. And like I said, nobody's obligated to share that. But I just think overall, you know, if you're going to step onto a platform, you're going to share some stuff, you know, and speak to people who want to be in that position, then you got to have been in that position. You know what I mean? Like, how are you going to go and make certain commentaries about certain things and you haven't been through it? You know what I mean? And so that's just all I say. And I think that at the end of the day, I say you guys all the time, the mind is so powerful. So adapting to change is definitely very scary, because ego definitely gets in the way and it feels like death. But I think overall, like, just being intuitive and being present and just knowing like what is true to you. You know, I freaking love doing like this podcast, because everything that I say is like, I feel good saying that. You know what I mean? Like, I know that's true to me. That's not regurgitated, you know, and that's not anything that makes me feel like I'm betraying myself. I feel very strong and confident when I speak on my podcast, because I don't have to listen to anybody, you know. And then I just think that's probably like the biggest thing about like just being who you are, because I feel like I tell you guys all the time, like it takes a lot of courage to be yourself. You know what I mean? Because it's so true. Like, when you get criticized for being authentic, man, it hurts. And I think that's probably what I'm struggling right now. I think that's where a lot of my self-doubt comes from, you know, because there's a lot of people that I really love, like the people that are dear to me. Those are the ones who mostly penetrate that. But, you know, that criticism is deep, man, especially when it is like when you are speaking from a place of truth. Now, you know, if you kind of got like some regurgitated answer, right? Like I was listening to Jordan Peterson, and he talked about that. And then it doesn't really hurt as much, right? Because it's just one of those things where it's like, okay, you know, but it's so true. Like, anytime I've ever, so anyways, I just was saying that. And so that's one of the things I love. And Yeah, you guys. This podcast was kind of all over the place, but I just wanted to get on here and share that. And I guess, just figure out what it is that you want, at the end of the day, and be patient with it, because it comes full circle, and just live every moment. I try to live every moment. Like, I know for me, I'm definitely a workaholic. I enjoy working, but sometimes I have to step back and realize, like, man, I'm pushing, and it's dope. It's great. It really is. But at the same time, I'm just like, okay, what am I pushing for? You know what I mean? If I die in the next, I don't know, like, I would have wasted so much of that time, instead of just being present, and still obviously getting things done. But yeah, so just because you're present doesn't mean you can't be productive. And just because you're productive doesn't mean you can't be present. So I guess I'm going to close with that. And I hope everybody has a fabulous Tuesday. And please eat some tacos, because I love tacos. I had tacos yesterday, actually. But okay, I'm going to leave you guys with your thoughts.